So, True T, the blogger that was kicked off YouTube, has an update in her federal lawsuit. She has submitted a new motion alongside a couple exhibits, and we're going to get into that update today in this video. So, you guys, please go ahead, hit that like button, and let's get started. All of the documents will be on the screen, and we can see that this was filed on March 8th, 2026, in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois. Jane Doe, doing business as True T, is the plaintiff, and Tay is listed as the defendant. And it says, notice of additional evidence in support of plaintiff's motion for emergency relief. Plaintiff Jane Doe, doing business as True T, appearing pro se, respectfully submits this notice of additional evidence in support of her previously filed motion for emergency relief, and states as follows. On March 8th, 2026, an individual identified as PBE, an alleged associate and co-conspirator of the defendant Tay, publicly posted plaintiff's personal information on a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel on which the information was posted is titled PBE Most Hated HBIC. Miss PBE allegedly obtained plaintiff's personal information from plaintiff's pro se appearance form filed in this case, which contains plaintiff's listed mailing address and phone number. Ms. PBE then published plaintiff's listed address and phone number on her YouTube channel, making that information visible to the public. Plaintiff believes this conduct constitutes doxing and harassment, and that it was done for the purpose of intimidating plaintiff in connection with this lawsuit. Plaintiff further states that Ms. PBE and defendant Tay, along with other individuals associated with them online, have allegedly used YouTube channels and other social media platforms to harass, intimidate, and attempt to obtain plaintiff's personal information. Plaintiff states that Ms. PBE and defendant Tay have previously referred to themselves online as the doxing queen. Plaintiff further states that Ms. PBE has previously made statements that the plaintiff interpreted as threats towards the plaintiff and members of plaintiff's family, including the plaintiff's children and mother. As a result of the March 8th, 2026 incident, plaintiff states she is in fear for her safety and the safety of her family. Plaintiff believes the publication of her address taken from a court filing was intended to intimidate plaintiff and discourage her from pursuing this lawsuit. Plaintiff submits this notice so that the court is aware of additional conduct that occurred after the filing of the plaintiff's motion for emergency relief, which plaintiff believes further supports the needs for the court's intervention. Plaintiff will submit a screenshot showing the post of the plaintiff's listed address on the YouTube channel PBE Most Hated HBIC as Exhibit A. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully files this notice of additional evidence so the court may consider the above incident in connection with plaintiff's pending motion for emergency relief, respectfully submitted by Jane Doe, doing business as True T, the plaintiff, pro se, dated March 8th, 2026. My comments on that is she's mad funny. She knows that that is not her address on that form, and those forms are available to the public, which she announced that she had filed. So if she didn't want anyone to know anything about these documents, she shouldn't have announced it on her Instagram. She is the one that officially brought it to the internet. No one wouldn't have knew there was a lawsuit filed regarding her until she announced it. And again, that is not her address. That leads to some random Staples in a whole nother state. And I hope she knows that people also have screenshots of her social media where she called herself outing their personal business. She has been posting people mug shots. She claimed that another content creator wrote bad checks. She posted content creator's family. She tried to dox Tay, saying that she works at a gas station and revealing her LinkedIn information. So it's kind of like mutual combat at this point. Yeah. And so this next document was filed on March 9th, 2026 in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois, with Jane Doe True T listed as the plaintiff and Tay as the defendant. And it is titled The Notice of Resubmission of Exhibits in Support of Pending Motions. Plaintiff Jane Doe, doing business as True T, respectfully submits this notice to inform the court that she is resubmitting exhibits in support of her pending motion for emergency relief regarding harassment and intimidation, and motion to hold defendant Tay responsible for harassment and doxing carried out by her co-conspirators. The exhibits attached to this filing are submitted to supplement and clarify the evidentiary record relating to the above referenced motion. These materials include documentation and evidence of alleged harassment, intimidation, and doxing directed towards the plaintiff. Plaintiff respectfully requests that the court accept and consider the attached exhibits in connection with the pending motion, respectfully submitted by the Jane Doe True T plaintiff pro se. So in this document, not only is she notifying the court that she will be submitting some exhibits as her evidence, but I found it interesting that she wants the court to hold Tay responsible for some co-conspirators that are not even listed on the case. How can the courts hold someone else responsible for harassment and doxing when all of these people are grown? Everybody has their free will, and these are publicly available documents. How can she be responsible for somebody posting these documents? She hasn't posted them. And again, there was no doxing because you're using Jane Doe as your name. We already know True T, and you're using a Staples address. So you weren't doxxed. First exhibit would be a screenshot from Giving You the Real T's channel. And it's just a screenshot of his live he did. And it's titled, Well, She's the Fattest Jane Doe I Ever Seen. Hush Tay, I got it, sis. Let's talk, friend. What kind of relevance that has, I don't know. The next one is another screenshot of that Staples address. This was from her being in the bushes in somebody's chat. And then the final exhibit would be the screenshot of Tay and PBE, and it has doxing queens on there, and to paint them out to be as these women who go around doxing people. And you have said it several times in your videos, True T, on your YouTube channel. You labeled these women as being doxers. So for them to flip the joke back on you, that doesn't prove anything. And so let's see what the courts had to say about Jane Doe's motion in her new exhibits she submitted. So in this document, it says a document of deficiency notice, and it says the document's description is her exhibits, and down at the bottom the last two boxes are checked, and it says exhibits submitted separately, and then other is checked, and it says exhibits submitted with no cover sheet and the deputy clerk's name, and it was dated for 3/10/2026, and they're letting her know that she has to submit cover sheets for her exhibits and evidence that she is submitting to the court. And so if she would have used those funds that she begged for from her subscribers and did what she told them she was going to do, which would be hiring a attorney for this lawsuit, then she would have knew that she needed to submit cover sheets, and she would have properly followed the court procedures. So yeah, the courts just issued her a document deficiency notice. She's going to have to submit some cover sheets for that. And I don't know, maybe we'll get to see some real evidence submitted by her, even though I don't believe she has any. I don't think she's going to get the outcome that she wants. But you guys let me know what y'all think about all of this down below in the comments. Don't forget to smash that like button. I'll keep y'all updated. Until next time. Bye.